We are currently trialing in 2 of our major intersections at Waterfall City, just an AI that is trying to learn the traffic patterns, so it doesn't really change in time based on how many cars are stacked in a certain area, but over time it's trying to learn frequency on days, hours, minutes, and in that way the traffic signals will change. We as Attacq are the owners of Souk, and that is a digitally enabled space. It's about 200 square meters. It's got digital screens. It's got movable furniture. And what this enables us to do is to let that space to a prospective tenant on a daily basis. So if you're an online-only business and you want to try your hand at physical retail at Mall of Africa, we can let you the space for a weekend or one day, etc. You can imagine that's a big interest bill to pay on a monthly basis. So with these interest rate cuts, it really is a significant impact on our business. That saving drops to the bottom line, and our shareholders benefit from that saving.
Welcome to the latest edition of ITWeb TV. Today we are joined by Michael Clampett, who is the Asset and Property Management Executive from Real Estate Investment Trust, Attacq. Welcome to ITWeb TV, Michael.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
Awesome. Just to understand, Michael, what does Real Estate Investment Trust mean?
So that's an interesting concept. We've actually borrowed that from the Americans, who started this concept in the 1970s, I believe. So Attacq, the business I work for, is a company listed on the JSE. But then being a real estate investment trust gives you a special dispensation. And it means that when we declare a dividend to our shareholders, there's no dividend tax on that. So mostly our investors are in pension funds, so that those people that benefit from pension funds also benefit from the tax pass-through. So it's quite a specific investment vehicle for real estate in South Africa, and one that a lot of companies utilize.
Awesome. Thanks a lot, Michael. There's a new term that just popped up like a few years ago, property technology, PropTech. How are you seeing property technology evolving as Attacq?
Yeah, so very interesting. Within Attacq, we've got a number of examples where we've dealt with it directly, but I think on a more macro scale, you could look at property or real estate as a business as maybe a bit of a lagging industry when it came to the adoption of technology. Certainly disruption was a lot more prevalent in other industries, would that be healthcare or maybe banking, finance, etc. But once again, I think the technology has arrived now at our doorsteps for us to utilize. Specifically, more recently, what you would have seen is in the ESG space, specifically the sustainability and also energy management utility space, a lot of investment in technology when it comes to either the management or the creation of, it could be electricity, but it could be monitoring of water, etc. So technology really assisting real estate owners in the management of these key utilities.
Awesome. I understand Attacq was involved in the development of Waterfall City, just next door to us, a very beautiful place. I'm sure there's a lot of technologies that were put into that development. If you can just share like some of the amazing technologies.
So thank you firstly for the compliment. We also believe that Waterfall City is a world-class, amazing city that we have the opportunity to build out here in South Africa. I think from a technology perspective, without getting caught up in too sexy examples, I think what's important is planning. The problem with technology is that it evolves really quickly. So what we've tried to do from an infrastructure perspective at Waterfall City is really plan that infrastructure properly so that we will be agnostic to future innovations or technologies. And that could involve the way that data gets transferred in the future. It could be the way that even streetlights work. I think just one small example, we are currently trialing in 2 of our major intersections at Waterfall City, just an AI that is trying to learn the traffic patterns, so it doesn't really change in time based on how many cars are stacked in a certain area, but over time it's trying to learn frequency on days, hours, minutes, and in that way the traffic signals will change based on what patterns it's picking up in our city.
So like maybe in the morning when it knows that maybe there's lots of people coming in and out, maybe.
That's correct. So just to clarify, it's not a real-time camera system that will change the signal based on what's happening in the moment. But over a period of a couple of months, it will learn and understand patterns and then adjust the standard operating process of the traffic lights based on these patterns.
Interesting. You also mentioned about ESG, like so when tenants are coming in, are they also looking at, is this a sustainable building before they come in, or maybe buyers, like owners of the properties, do they consider those things a lot nowadays?
Yeah, I think for us in our business, we reframe ESG. It has to be part of your business, and I think what's really good about that is that in a lot of cases, when you make a good sustainable decision, it's also a good commercial or financial decision. So of course, when tenants enter a building and you build it in a way that uses airflow to cool the building, the tenant might save on some cooling costs in summer from HVAC, etc. So a lot of the times these decisions are not just done as a tick box to obtain a certificate, but actually they've got real commercial value when done in the right way.
So besides Waterfall City, which other developments do you have there?
So we own a couple of retail centers around the country. We own Garderud Mall in George, Eikestad Mall in Stellenbosch. We own Linwood Breach, which is also a precinct in Pretoria. And we own Waterfall Mall in Potchefstroom. So once again, all the practices and lessons that we learn in Waterfall City as a precinct, we're able to then deploy and implement them in the other precincts that we do own.
But Waterfall is your flagship.
That's the flagship. It's probably the one that's well known. Of course, Mall of Africa sits slap bang in the middle of Waterfall City. And from sort of a consumer perspective, I think a lot of people are familiar with the name Mall of Africa.
Any future plans, any future developments?
So we've still got about 1.2 million square meters of bulk to develop. So, that sounds like a big number, but to put that in context, I think a 3-bedroom house on average would be 200 to 250 square meters. So if you do the math, that could probably take us about another 15, 17 years to build out. So really our focus is on Waterfall City at the moment.
Is it awesome? And we also have got technologies like your Internet of Things, machine learning. Are you also making use of these technologies?
Yeah. So once again, I think a lot of these things are exploratory. Maybe an example, not maybe using IoT, but sort of a learning algorithm is we developed post-COVID a digital shopping voucher. So we wanted to deploy that in our shopping centers. It was called Shopping. We've recently sold that to a parking business, which is called Admit. Now, Admit uses number plate recognition. If you have an account with them, you simply drive up to the boom at a mall. Mall of Africa is one of those shopping centers. And the boom will open and simply credit your account. Now, what we're looking at currently as sort of a next phase is from a promotion perspective, it serves the retailers really well if they can incentivize you to shop when you're at the mall. It doesn't help that you see a Facebook ad when you're lying at home for, let's say, a discount on a burger at Spur. But now when you drive your vehicle into Mall of Africa, of course, the back end will know that you've just arrived at Mall of Africa. And if Spur wants to surface you with a discount voucher, they'll be able to do so on your mobile device. But you're already at Mall of Africa, you're close to Spur. So hopefully we can get a higher conversion rate by deploying technologies like that.
Oh, interesting. And also maybe we have spoken about artificial intelligence. How is it also helping you, besides like your clients, maybe to manage a relationship between maybe a tenant and a client, to manage those relationships? Are you also using technologies?
Yeah, so from an AI perspective, I don't think we are there yet. Really studying the industry, I don't think that there's anyone really using it for anything other than contract review. I must say it's very helpful in terms of contract review, understanding changes and shortening the time to conclude legal agreements. But beyond that, I don't think that we've really found a use case for that in terms of engaging with our clients or the shoppers for that matter. But I'm sure those use cases will come.
And are there any challenges that you face with when using this technology, these emerging technologies?
Yeah. So I think it's a lot of trial and error when you're a big business and I think this is the problem with most innovation, right? It's not just real estate, but if you're really good at being a landlord, trying these other things that are just beyond your scope of comfort is uncomfortable, and so really trying to narrow down to not do 10 pilots, spend a lot of time testing things that don't work. Having that focus to really try and identify something that will make a significant difference in the business, and then only piloting and experimenting, within that use case. I think that's the big challenge for us.
Maybe also to hear from you, like what kind of technologies do you think will impact real estate maybe in the next 5 to 10 years?
Yeah, so interesting. There's of course, the proliferation of online is creating a lot of change in the industry. If you think about South Africa, just think about a year or two ago when Temu, Shein entered the country, the impact that had on our physical retailers. It's literally created a new competitor. One for businesses that are used to physical competitors is a new challenge to face. But there's a number of innovations at Mall of Africa. As an example, we have a really nice business. It's called Souk. We as Attacq are the owners of Souk, and that is a digitally enabled space. It's about 200 square meters. It's got digital screens. It's got movable furniture. And what this enables us to do is to let that space to a prospective tenant on a daily basis. So if you're an online-only business and you want to try your hand at physical retail at Mall of Africa, we can let you the space for a weekend or one day, etc. It's plug and play. You load your brand and whatever content you want to display on the content management system, and within 5 minutes you've got a store ready to trade. And what we've seen is that a lot of businesses now use this as proof. If they do really well, it gives us the opportunity to give them maybe more permanent space, them to invest capital with now less risk because they understand there's a market. They understand how much turnover they can generate in the space. So once again, their technology really is assisting us, to not limit us to signing 3 or 5 year leases, to now sign a 1-day lease, give that prospective retailer an opportunity, and then with a lot more certainty, we can conclude the long-term leases.
So smaller businesses also taking advantage of that, those who can't afford maybe a monthly rent.
Yeah, we've had some really cool success with that. So yes, initially we were focused on online only and micro retailers to give them an opportunity. We really felt that there was a need for that in the South African retail space. But we've had a number of other successes. So we've had big national retailers. Example I can quote is Pepkor. They launched a new brand called Refinery Kids. But what they did is they actually took the space for a month, merchandised it with the new product, and then could understand what that brand is going to do in a mall without, signing up a big lease with us. Another use case was when Tyler won the Grammy. She came back to South Africa. We did a deal with Sony, and so Sony being the record label, we hosted Tyler there for 1 day so she could interact with fans. And so once again, the technology has enabled us to use that space in different ways, not just as a shop.
You should have told me earlier. My daughter was dying to see Thailand. I said, there's no way you're going to get a chance to see this. So had I known earlier, you could have hooked me up.
I think on that day we saw more people than we usually see on a Black Friday. So it was an incredible day at Mall of Africa.
Awesome. And roughly how much is it to book that space maybe for a day?
So the rate card does depend on how long you take it. So let me quote rather a number of around about 5,000 Rand. It could be more, it could be less, depending on whether you take it for the full month, just 1 day, a weekend that obviously is a busy period, or a Tuesday, which is a slow period. So the rate card can range anything from 10,000 to, let's say, 4,000 a day, but it does depend on how long you take it. Also depends on which days you take it.
Awesome. And maybe also looking at the COVID pandemic, obviously it affected your business in some way. People were not going to the offices and so forth. Have you recovered from that?
Yeah.
People now coming back to the office.
Yeah, I'm grateful to say that we've recovered from that. COVID was really interesting in the real estate space. Initially, it affected the retail businesses first. Of course, we couldn't go to malls. But the offices still had to keep going because they had server rooms. They had things that had to keep running to keep the businesses going. At around about 2021, 2022, we saw corporates really looking what the office should be, how much space they require. So we went through a period where There was a lot of work from home. There was a lot of shrinking of the office space that they let from us. But then about 2024 and then definitely 2025, we've seen a big turnaround in that. There's a big return to office. Our office clients are very aware of the importance of an office for people to come together and collaborate. So they're investing a lot of their own money now, not just in the space they're in from us, but also in what amenities they put in there, sort of ways to incentivize their staff to come back, and ensuring that it's a really nice environment. So I think that has really enabled us to build some new offices now in Waterfall City, which we're very happy with, because there's some demand now.
Awesome. And also the rate cuts that we have spoken about earlier, how are they impacting your business?
Sorry, just say that again.
The rate cuts from the Reserve Bank.
Oh, yes.
The repo rate, yeah.
Yeah, so being a real estate business, it's really hard to fund that all with just equity. So, of course, a big part of our balance sheet will be debt funded. Incidentally, Attacq is actually really low. So our loan-to-value ratio currently sits at about 24%, which is a bit low for a real estate business. But you can imagine that's a big interest bill to pay on a monthly basis. So with these interest rate cuts, it really is a significant impact on our business. That saving drops to the bottom line, and our shareholders benefit from that saving in potentially an increased dividend in future. So I'm really happy that the rates got cut last week Thursday.
Awesome. And thanks a lot, Michael. Lastly, what would you want to tell your shareholders on this platform?
Yeah, so Attacq is a business. I think we've really created a bit of a niche for ourselves. We've come out as early as 2018 and 19 saying that we are a precinct-focused business. What does this mean? It means that we manage and own precincts, not individual buildings scattered across South Africa. And that really allows us to focus about the entire experience that people have, whether you're a visitor to an office building, staff in the office building, or shopper at any of our malls. We can focus on the entire experience from when you enter the city, like Waterfall City. Are the lights working? Is it clean? Is it safe? And I think that precinct focus has put us apart from some of our competitors, and I think shareholders are noticing that.
And also, I'm happy that you mentioned security. And there are lots of technologies that are coming to boost security. What are you doing as Attacq, maybe on a place like Waterfall City, to use technology to ensure that your tenants and the people who visit are safe?
So I mean, there's a number of technology applications, from the identification of visitors, the identification of people that need to enter and exit certain areas of any building that we own. I think what we do successfully, specifically at Waterfall City, is also sort of a citywide integration. So that means that control rooms that service the Mall of Africa also are in contact with the offices, are in contact with the residential estates. And so really that creates a much wider net in terms of providing the security. And I think that that technology has enabled us to achieve a lot of these integrations. So, the quicker information is shared, alerts are given, our security service providers can respond to that, and that really contributes to the safety at Waterfall City.
Great stuff. And also maybe for energy security, a lot of businesses were investing in, or are still investing in, alternative energy sources with, the precarious energy situation that we have in South Africa.
We're pretty close to have exhausted all our rooftops of the properties we own. So from that perspective, we've done what we can. We also, about 3 years ago, entered into a power purchase agreement that is with a business that's setting up 100 megawatts in the R. They are busy constructing that. It's hopefully coming online later this year. And then Waterfall City will benefit to the tune of about 15 megawatts of imported wheeled energy that comes from that solar plant in the R.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Michael, for coming to ITWeb TV. We really enjoyed talking to you, especially about the developments that are happening in the real estate industry. Thank you so much for watching this episode of ITWeb TV. Today we are talking to Michael Clampett, who is from Attacq. Hope you enjoyed this episode, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thank you for watching.